Okay, we're live. All right, Guns Crew, it's me, your boy Ron. I'm here. For those that need to know, I'm doing all right for now, which is always good. All right. Been having this weird breathing issue lately, but so far, doing okay today. I had lots of water with some lemon juice in it, and whatever this congestion or whatever it is that was causing the wheezing, whatever, clearing out just fine, which is good. My sleep's been okay, although today I had a lot of naps, even with the schoolwork stuff with my kid. So the reason I'm doing this video is a very specific video. I'm not going to be here in an hour or 2 hours or anything like that. I'm not going to be talking and driving much. This is actually more of an encouraging video for some of my friends and family out there. You're trying to, well, make some changes, right? You know, it's 2020. 2020's been crazy, right? Some of us, we end up experiencing some weight changes, some health changes, and obviously some of us want to make a difference, right? So this is why the title of this video is called, hi mom, it's called SMART Goals, S-M-A-R-T, which is an acronym here for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. I had to write this down on my laptop just so that I can, you know, keep my references intact. I'm literally doing this off the cuff. So the first thing is specific, right? So what is your goal? What are you looking to get done, right? Could be either body recomposition. So you're trying to drop weight, trying to lose body fat, maybe both. You might be looking to gain some muscle mass. That's always fun. Or maybe just trying to drop the body fat itself. Just that. Or, like some of us, your goal is to build your muscular strength and muscular power, which is a whole different type of programming, whole different type of training compared to, you know, dropping weight or just gaining weight or recomposition. That's number one, specific. So when you're thinking about the goals you want to accomplish for yourself health-wise, that's the first thing you gotta think about. Especially if you're coming to me, you're like, hey Ron, listen, I need help. There's some training goals I want to accomplish, but my first question is gonna be, all right, what is it that you're looking to accomplish, right? That's gonna be the first thing. Once you got that figured out, we go into step 2, which is measurable. So in that case, can you lay out a time frame? Can you lay out exactly what you specifically want to do? So for example, okay, I want to drop weight. Okay, how much are you looking to drop? Well, I do want to drop maybe like 10, 15 pounds. Or, thought I saw a cat. I want to drop maybe 30, 40 pounds because I really need to drop it. I really need to take care of myself. Things are kind of crucial. Or another example, again, in the strength and power department, well, I'm kind of weak. I want to, love you mom, I want to be able to like right now my max is only like, it's a little light, but man, I can only lift like maybe 95 pounds on the bench, 3 reps. I want to be able to hit all the way up to like 155 or 200. Okay, so, all right, again, you already laid out what your goal is, and you know exactly what you're trying to do. Obviously, you want to become stronger, and you know exactly how much stronger do you want to be. Of course, that's when we start talking training routines, volume, reps, all the schematics on that. Another ones would be, well, I'm looking to drop 30, 40 pounds, at least within minimum the next 6 months. Next 6 months, maybe a year. Which is great. It's a good starting point. Then you also have to think of a couple of other things, right? Again, this goes into the measurable variable. Are you coming off surgery? Are you coming off rehabilitating post-surgery? Are you currently dealing with a physical limitation? And if the answer is yes to that, you need to know what it is. If it's something that has to be seen with a doctor, go straight ahead to him or her. That way, we can build a program around the limitations. It's like, okay, if, for example, you're fresh off a fractured ankle, right? Let's say you just recovered after 6 to 8 weeks of having fractured your ankle. It was in a cast for 6 weeks, finally took it off, and then, got a little brace or whatever for another 2 weeks or whatever. Guess what? I'm not gonna set up the program to have you go balls to the wall with your legs. Gotta write a whole different program for that compared to someone who's just fine and they're trying to build up their squat or deadlift game, or someone that can lunge no problem. I have to build things differently. If someone's recovering from a torn rotator cuff, I can't train you the way I train someone who's totally fine. Very different schematics involved. Another one would be, well, I want to gain some muscle mass. I want to do some body recomp within 6 to 12 months. Why? Because I'm getting married next week, or I got this big event going on. I want to look really, dialed up the nines, everything. Okay, so let's go over certain things. Then we go be like, all right, well, let's do an assessment here. Let's see what your weight is, where your body fat's at, what percentage of body fat do you desirably want to be at so that you can be at what you're trying to accomplish for yourself. Then, once we go through all that, step 3 is attainable. Can it be done? Is it something that can be attainable that you can accomplish? Losing 20, 30 pounds in 6 months to a year, assuming that no injuries happen, no complications with your health, assuming that your diet is on point, assuming that your sleep is on point. Yeah, then more often than not, the answer is going to be yes, assuming that you're not trying to crunch in so much stuff. For example, an example of a goal that is not realistically attainable at all. I'm trying to become 50 pounds stronger on my deadlift within 3 weeks. Sorry, Chuck, ain't happening. But if we were to talk maybe 6 months, right? And we build a program gradually. For neuromuscular stimulation and adaptation, and then progressive overload, recovery, deloads, and progressively build you. It can be done, right? Trying to drop 30 pounds in a month. Not that it can't be done. It has been. However, it is not the safest thing. Because again, it goes down to measuring your health. Because some people, they want to crash diet, they want to crash drop weight, but then all of a sudden, their whole body goes out of control. Hormones, eating habits, the whole shebang. And then when hormones are involved, things can get really haywire. When the diet is crashed to a point that it is very out of control, guess what? You can accomplish it, yeah, maybe. But guess what? What happens after you drop the 30 pounds? Right? Because we have to then talk about caloric maintenance, so you can hang on to all that progress you made. You drop 30 pounds in like a month or two, okay? Guess what? Obviously, calories in, calories out is the game, in the most simplest sense. However, then there's caloric maintenance. That's where things change. We have to work that. And some people, they are new to making these goals happen and everything. Once they accomplish the goal, they think, bam, that's it. They don't have to do anything else. But guess what? It's like a lot of things in life where once you get good at something, or once you accomplish something, so that you don't lose it, you gotta maintain it. You gotta do some maintenance on it so that you don't backslide backwards, or you don't put all that hard work only for it to go out the window the minute you slack off a bit, this and that. We're human, it happens, but due diligence and discipline will be required if you want to hang on to the progression you made. realistic. I believe we already spoke on this. You know, can it be done within reason? So, for example, someone tells me they want to drop 50 pounds in a year. So if we were to do the math on that, right, 50 pounds in a year. So take 50 divided by 12. We're looking at, it can be done, but ooh, that is quite some. Matter of fact, I put out the calculator on my Mac. Bear with me. Thank God for calculators on my Mac. Alright, so, for example, you're trying to lose 50 pounds within 12 months. Okay, you're looking at about slightly more than 4 pounds a month. It's workable. You know, it's workable. Aggressive, but it can be doable. Right? One of the things I did recommend to a friend of mine who she is just crushing her goals, and right now she overdid it a little with her training this week on her own, and well, she kind of sidelined for a couple of weeks. I mean, she crushing it. I mean, I want to say within the first 2-3 months she managed to drop 20. No, was it 3 months? Yeah. Granted, she did have her caloric deficit, but her diet, just what she needed. Hi, Titi. She followed me to the T when it came to the training program. Be like, hey, listen, this is what you're gonna do, right? Okay, so you're a stay-at-home mom. Cool. You're walking 5 miles a day. That's a good start. I mean, if anything, that already shows initiative that she's trying to take care of herself. Now we're dealing with calisthenics, dealing with body weight exercises. I just found out, I think like a couple of weeks ago, she got her resistance band. So look, that adds in another thing can throw in there. It makes her goals, makes the things she's accomplished doable, realistic. But if you're trying to like really, what's the word? Really trying to go balls to the wall on something and a time limit is short, or it's something that you have to then lower your expectations. Something a lot of people don't want to do. Because usually everyone wants to put the highest of expectations, the highest of standards. Meanwhile, on the most basic bitch of shit, they can't even do that. So it's like, hey, before you shoot all the way to the moon, let's start on step 1. You want to jump all the way to the Holy Grail, but you haven't even gone through like step 1 through 5. Gotta start small, work your way up. Because you can have all the confidence in the world, but you gotta put in the work to really make it happen. The last one, the T, timely. Setting a date for it to be accomplished. So if you already put it in your business, be like, hey, within the next year or two, right now I'm 20% body fat. I want to bring myself down to 15% or 10%. Some people want to really bring it down. That's awesome. You're setting a year, it can be done. It can. I strongly believe that. I can say this. I'll give you an example. So for me, back in 2018, I was swinging between 269 and 272. Here's the fun part. This was 2018, and I had 33% body fat on me. I had no idea I had slacked off that bad, because prior to that, in 2016, late June, early July, I was at 236 with 14.6% body fat. The leanest I've ever been, even with extra skin and all. I had slacked all the way off to where at one point I was 295, but then I dropped down to 272, but my body fat was at 33. So in other words, okay, I was dropping the weight, but the body fat was, I want to say within a good 6 months, we brought it down to 20%. Even on a plant-based diet where people usually be like, oh, but all the carbs. I'm like, yeah, we had all the carbs. We did, right? But we hacked down on dietary cholesterol, So I wasn't eating any eggs, wasn't eating shrimp on a regular basis at all. So, because the body itself produces cholesterol. So why the hell do I need to eat more cholesterol, right? All the carbs in the world, and I was getting all the fiber in the world. Because let me tell you something, when I make oatmeal, I don't just eat oatmeal with sugar and that's it. No. First of all, we throw in some cinnamon up in there, a little bit of pink salt, right, for those minerals. And then we toss in chia seeds. Because chia seeds, you're getting your protein, you're getting healthy fat. That's the key thing, your unsaturated fats. Your omega-6s, omega-3s are all in there too. And you're still getting protein off that too. And fiber. And then that complements the oats themselves. Kind of like when you eat rice and beans, right? Rice by itself, you're not going to get much protein. You're going to get all carbs. Not really much fiber, even if you get brown basmati rice, which is known to be the healthiest rice out there because it has the lowest number of arsenic. But throw the beans in. That's when you start bringing the balance. And the importance of having carbs with rich fiber in there is to keep that insulin steady. When you're having empty carbs with no fiber whatsoever, of course your insulin's going to spike and crash. It's going to happen. But when you throw in the fiber, keeps everything regulated. And then if there's healthy fats in there, helps it keep moving along smoothly instead of it being like a huge, like a semi hitting the wall. You can avoid that if you got those nice balances going on. Because you're getting, when you have your oats, for example, this is the best example I like to put in. Oatmeal, all right, you got carbs, a little bit of fiber, right? Toss in 3 tablespoons of chia seeds, the way I like to. You're getting protein, you're still getting carbs, but you're getting lots of fiber and getting healthy fats. So right there, whatever spiking that may happen from just oats alone, you're slowing the movement of the insulin. So if it's going at 90 miles an hour, you just slow it down to 60 or 55. Because fat helps regulate hormones, and also fat as an energy source moves slower than carbs do. Carbs is the easiest energy to expend. Protein is the last line of defense when it comes to what the body breaks down. So for me, 6 months, I went from 272 all the way down to like 255, 260 with 20% body fat. So right there, I hacked down 13 points on my body fat, dropped down the weight. It was great, smooth sailing. Then prior to COVID, before the safer at home order here in Tampa, back in March, I was as lean as 239 with 15% body fat. I think that was the happiest I've ever been physically. I was wearing medium shirts like it's no tomorrow. Pants, let's get real. I'm Puerto Rican, New Yorican actually. So, big booty Judy problems. So, okay, the waist was going down, but the hips is another story. They like to wiggle a whole different size. That's just how it is. One thing I also added that also helped with this, intermittent fasting, right? Because that also helps with your dieting as well as your sleeping. Let me explain. So usually intermittent fasting, you have a limited eating window, but a large fasting window. People get scared at the term fasting because they're like, oh my God, I'm going to starve myself. Hold on, Charlie. Hold on there. We're going to talk about that, right? So when I was studying before I got my certification, there was a chapter that discussed fasting. Usually, if you want to go to the doctors to make sure they get a good reading, it's recommended 12 to 16 hours of fasting before you go see the doctor. So how do you do that, right? Easiest way is the following. Last meal is 4 hours before bed. So right there, that's 4 hours. You get 8 hours of sleep right after. So right there, you got 12 hours. Right there. So bam, right there. 16 hours, right? That would be, last meal is 4 hours before bedtime, 8 hours of sleep, and no meals until right after 4 hours upon waking up from sleep. So right there, you got your 16 hours right there. When putting it in that frame, it's easy. It's actually very easy when you put it in that frame. It really comes down to a lot of due diligence and discipline. I can tell you right now, trying to hit that 16-hour mark is a pain in my ass. But when it's done, it's done. Those of you who do Ramadan, oh, you guys must be like the kings of this. Because you guys have to like not eat, but also not drink a thing from the minute the sun rises until the sun is out of the picture. They take it to a whole new level. They're not even having water. So power to those that do Ramadan style fasting, because that's I tried at least a week of that. That was hell. And here's another thing. It goes down to measurement. The measurement aspect of SMART goals. It's knowing your relationship with food, right? If you like a lot of salty stuff, well, you know you're gonna have to touch that up a bit. You're gonna have to make some adjustments. If, like me, you got a sweet tooth, you gotta make some strong, bold changes. For me, it is easier to deal with salty food than it is with sweet food. Reason being, it's like opening a can of worms with me. It's like, if you put me in a room with nothing but sweets and there are no healthy alternatives, and by healthy, I don't mean with a branding whatever. I'm talking about like, oh, this whole table full of Milky Way Zero and Twix and Boston cream donuts. And then on the other side, you just got fiber one. I'd be like, that's not gonna be enough. Now, if you put on the other side a whole shit ton of fruit, blueberries, strawberries, apples, bananas, elderberries, cantaloupe, watermelon, kiwi. Oh, now we have a conversation. Now I'll be like, fuck you, Boston cream. I'm going to Kiwi City over here. Because here's a great thing about kiwi. All the fiber, all the vitamin C you need, and all the potassium. Right there. It's great. You can either eat the skin if you want. I know I do. Makes my poop nice and smooth. Eat that, plus eating some oatmeal is a done deal. So making lifestyle changes is another element of the SMART goals thing. It's just part of it. And sometimes the timely part, we sometimes think we have a realistic timing set, but then what happens is the pressure. Not pressure people put around you, not pressure put on by a significant other or family. No, pressure we put on ourselves. Sometimes we get that itch, that restless, anxious itch of wanting to get it done faster than on schedule. Like if your schedule is, hey, I'm trying to get to this weight and this body fat percentage at this specific time, but then all of a sudden you feel that itch to speed the process by cutting the calories further, by training twice as hard for no damn reason. Well, not for no damn reason, but more of, you're like, I want to move it faster. You got to stop yourself for a second. Give some time to meditate mentally. Really think out your goals for a second. The reason I say that, because sometimes we can be harsh on ourselves. I can openly say no one is harsher on me than me. I am my absolute worst critic. My ex-wife does not even touch how rough of a critic I am of myself. My girlfriend doesn't even touch that base, or any ex-girlfriend for that matter. No one in my family is as harsh of a critic on me as I am. Not even my friends. And my friends can sometimes be like, hey, Ronnie, honestly, you gotta... And trust me, a lot of their advice at times is awesome. It's just that when it comes to being rough on myself, I can be extremely harsh on a level that most people don't see. Because, yeah, I'm 35, but I look at the sands of time. Ain't running any slower, ain't running any faster, but still, gotta take care of myself. It matters. And it's like, hey, you gotta work with the pace. Adjust when you have to. Like if you're moving a little faster than on schedule, that can be great. But that means you'll have to adjust things in the process. So for example, you want to avoid injury. with your training. You do. Sometimes we may want to work faster and harder because we want to get to that finish line so damn fast. But here's the thing: it isn't a race against time, except for the time you've placed upon yourself. And if you already put a marker on where that deadline is, don't try to move it closer. You're only going to set yourself up for failure, frustration, and then sometimes regret, because then it'll come to bite you. You'll want to reach the goal earlier than expected, and then you end up injuring yourself. You try to crank up the load on the weights more than you usually do when you can barely even do 20 reps on a certain weight. You know, it's that slow build. Slow build is the number one source of impatience with a lot of people. A lot of people don't want to build fast because right now compared to 20 years ago, like when I was a kid, we're in a instant gratification type culture now, especially here in the U.S. Everyone wants to make things happen fast, accomplish things fast, try to do everything fast, but not appreciating the process. And sometimes the best results happen from a slower burn, slower build. Sometimes you gotta do it. If you're dealing with mental health issues, if you're dealing with relationship with food issues, you really gotta work the notch with that. So those are gonna be my words for tonight. Thank you for tuning in to all my Guns crew. Love you all. Peace be unto all of you. Namaste to whoever. Blessings to everyone. You know, be happy, healthy, keep the vibes up. Don't let the coffee drive you up the wall too much. Don't let life stress you out more than it already has, because life is stressful enough at times as it is, even when you have all the lovely, happy moments. So I'm gonna leave it at that, folks. You have a good evening. Any questions, comments, thoughts, just hit me up. I'm here on Facebook. I'm over on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm on YouTube. And who knows, I might do some live streaming tonight. So if anyone's into video games, just go over to Ron Guns on YouTube. I'll probably be there in the next 20-30 minutes. All right? So Guns Crew, love y'all. Take care.